Good morning. Let me get some charts up here that don't move anymore too much, except for whipping around intraday. Signal. There we go. All right, I had SPX up here, but let's start with something else. So this is the only one that looks like it's got a shot at going higher. And little follow through this morning. It doesn't mean it can't, but we'll see where this is going to go. We've been talking for 5 weeks now about a market going nowhere and dips lower, bullish price action. If it's so bullish, why isn't it going up? Well, I think it's more of confusion, but it doesn't want to go down. And today's data, I mean, more job claims coming. It just seems more and more that they're going to have to succumb to the realization that some kind of recession is coming. And we'll get to interest rates, but this has got a little bit of room, little bitty tiny clear air to go higher. And we'll just see if it can. It started there this morning, had a little, move up above this resistance yesterday. So while messy, look, pivot, drop down, retracement back up again, 100% retracement, right? So buyers are strong, higher low, sideways price action up against that resistance area, got reversal. Everything says it should go up. Well, it's not happening at the moment. Can this market go alone? We'll see. And I still got this little drawing there. Is this going to be a head and shoulders? But just the whippy price action is everywhere. Strong move down, rips back up again. And we talked about the daily having to come into alignment with the weekly, right? 2 weeks in a row, these bottoming tail bars, haven't been able to do it yet. It's still possible. It's still at the top of the wide range bar. And so far, just an inside day today. This is dropping inside of an inside day. We've got big trading range. This is kind of crazy. We've got a trading range inside a bigger trading range, and now a little trading range. It's like, remember those, I don't know what they call them, not necessarily a toy, but it was kind of that thing where you'd have something and you'd open it up and you'd open it up and you'd open it up and getting to smaller and smaller things, and it's where the markets are going to be, where they're just going to be in a coma there on a 1 minute chart, not moving. And then what do we do? I don't think that's going to happen, but every day, wait and see. So nothing of significance has been happening. And at some point, something's going to happen. We're just waiting. We're waiting. All right. SPX. The numbers have not even become close because nothing is moving. Yesterday, it looked like this number was a little bit higher yesterday. No, it was a little bit lower, I think. Anyway, I can remember. I just changed them. But you can see, look at, if you could draw a line on the closes as to what's happening here. It's like, I should have, whatever. There's just nothing. Just whatever news is coming out, nothing is happening. And, prices are right around here. So nothing of significance happening. It was premium at 41.75 and 40.70. And just based on this lack of movement, just double checking again. 41.75 is now 65 by 70. So 41.70, if you so choose. 41.70. And maybe this goes a little lower. We could do 65. That's good. I like that. I don't think it'll go up here. So I think, look, you got this pivot up here. If the NASDAQ breaks out, it could drag this, but the banks are down again. PAC-W looks it's in trouble, and XLF wasn't doing too good yesterday. But this is far. I think this should be far enough away, and you've got all this support here, so this should be fine today. Where I was saying he's going to do down here 40.65, 20 wide. So makes sense. 50 MA, you don't want it to go down past your strike, but if it, there was like a moment where it was like, it's diving down there. When you see pivot low, you got a 50 MA, especially if having to travel from here down to there, it's going to pop back up, And I say that, with a disclaimer, because, some news coming out that really rattles the market that, there's nothing that we know of, and that's why it would rattle the market. Something that came out that was totally unexpected, like, of course, some kind of significant move. All right. Russell making a dive down to the bottom of the trading range. And we talk about the big head and shoulders top. And, so you've got this kind of double-headed head and shoulders top. It's just within yesterday's range, give or take. So look, here's the big lines in the sand down there. Do they keep moving down? And look at the SPY chart. Yeah. So yesterday, it was like, this thing's going down, right? It was going down. And, in the green room, Sam was asking me about it holding here. And, we work together in the green room that, everybody's sharing ideas and, coming to, hey, what's, likely to happen and so on. So it's a great place to be. You can get a trial for $7. But anyway, our discussion was, Sam put, as things were diving down, like they'll go down. And I talked about the gap fill down this area around here, just before the gap fill. And our discussion was, there's nothing to stop the SPY. I said, but the Qs are into the gap fill here. And so why would SPY begin to stabilize? Well, because the Qs are going to stabilize. These markets affect each other. So we keep an eye on both. So even when one SPY, S&P 500, still had room to go, there was no support till it got down to the support. The NASDAQ 100 was into the gap fill. So we recognize this is going to begin to stabilize. And if it does, that's the psychology part of trading, even intraday, that traders that are knowledgeable, that are watching other markets, are going to say, okay, the NASDAQ 100 is on support. Buyers are going to show up there. Maybe if it could have a relatively small bounce and the S&P 500 goes sideways and doesn't do much of anything, once the Qs roll over, the spiders will go down and fill the gap. Well, that didn't happen. The thing stopped and it started going straight up, and it hit resistance and it kept going and hit resistance and it kept going until it got to the top of the day. And we got these bottoming tail bars, which is like, okay, this is supposed to go up now. And if you look at the spiders, There's that bottoming tail bar. And where are they? Right? It's moving back down into the middle of the range. Institutions don't know what the hell to do. They want to buy, they believe it's going to go up. They lose their confidence day to day, and you've got this wide range mess going on here. And, two bottoming tail bars in a row. I mean, when you get this kind of craziness, of course, you start to become unsure. Is this it? Is this it? Where's something going to happen? But I think that if at the end of the day tomorrow, this weekly bar is red and down here, it's got to go down. I mean, let's see. We'll see what today ends, but right now, you see markets are coming in, and the move up leaves little support, and as this comes down, it's in the middle of yesterday's range. Why is it going to want to stop? Well, maybe here. But anyway, certainly think different this time. Interest rates knocking on the door here. And kind of what we want to see. We started talking about this over a month ago. Interest rates coming down to this support level. And that they've just been jiggling around for over a month down here. Now they're back to the bottom of the range again. Kind of the topping pattern, but let's see if they break through. And as far as a recession confirmation of what should happen, interest rates will start to break down. And we'll say, well, for the markets, that should be a good thing. Well, yes and no, because at where we are right now, this is interest rates breaking down is more of a signal of recession. And hey, nobody's going to come for this money during a recession. It's a supply demand thing. So interest rates start to fall. We start hearing more about, oh yeah, it's going to be recession, earnings not doing as well and all of that. We see these banks starting to drop. You saw JP Morgan starting to move down yesterday, Goldman Sachs and so on. And the Republicans and the Democrats, who's going to blink? Maybe nobody blinks. There's whatever. We get this great drama going on for a few days, and interest rates come down, maybe here, and eventually that makes stocks attractive, and the cycle starts over again. Right now, everybody's who's going to blink, which way things are going to go. They're just whipping up and down. So we deal with it. All right. 13-week flip-flopping around there. Volatility index. Is it ready to move up finally? We'll see. We've been talking about this being down here at a level where recently, over the last year or two, been popping up. Markets have gone down. It has been no follow through. But yesterday was the day. Wrong. Transports. Topping pattern. Can they break down? You can see I've got it drawn out here, but they don't break yet. This is what we are dealing with at the moment. Silver's starting to come in a little bit. The dollar's showing a little strength. This is a little bit of a better of a topping pattern now. Part of our discussion yesterday in MT Live, we talked about patterns and different time frames expanding and compressing data. And you can see the weekly chart here compressing the data, but now the weekly chart has got an extra top and a wide range bar. And on the daily, you've got this slowing momentum and now a retracement down to support. So it may hold here for a little bit. This by next week should turn into a short setup that's reliable as this pattern develops. And Where is my dollar? Here. Which it doesn't, you get these dashes, but you see how it gapped up here. And it's kind of weird. The dollar's going up, interest rates are going down. So there's been a decoupling there. So the dollar's down here at support, and it's just been whipping back and forth like everything else. But as this starts to move up, silver and gold are going to get sold. Now, that's not so much, but you can see it's got relatively close to the prior highs there. So momentum is slowing, but we don't have a break yet. We'll just set an alert there. Bitcoin still hanging there. We've been looking at this for several days now. It's just hanging there, doing nothing. So we've got lots of markets marking time, waiting for what? Debt ceiling. I don't know what they're waiting for, but just a lot of whipping back and forth. And have your stops in, and don't get married to anything. Take your money when it's there, and it'll hopefully this thing will take a direction here relatively soon. Well, yours, Dan.
Good morning. So Disney was a big earnings last night, was whipping all over the place. And now it's ending up down. We were talking in the room that I love red bar breakouts. So if this opened just under 103, that would have been a beautiful red bar breakout. Now it's down. So now it's ugly. So we can look for a call spread. Yeah, regional banks are bearish again. Yep, I got a couple of them here. Like Schwab, I've been watching for a while. This thing can't bounce, and big old brokerage firm. And remember, it tanked along with the other ones and didn't bounce much. And that's because I was reading is they took a lot of these losses too, just like the banks did. I mean, Schwab has a ton of money, and I think they even have a Schwab bank. Now look at Bank of Hawaii, same, no bounce. This already was a closing breakdown. Looks horrible. Zion sell setup. It be, yesterday's course making the turn here at the 20 MA. PAC W is probably the next one to go on the chopping block. Wall sell setup. Google yesterday, I posted the put spread right after our MT live. It was about right there, 110.50. And then I read something today that, yeah, that pop occurred as usual. I've been saying for the last 4 or 5 months that anybody who starts talking about AI, that seems the theme is it just creates a buying frenzy. It just totally reminds me of the internet days. And I posted it as a directional idea also, but the thing kept going. But that's a beautiful daily weekly breakout. Looks higher, but how are you going to get on board at this point? You need a big stop. Netflix put spread. Thomas, it's gapping down though. I guess I'm assuming on the heels of Disney, big media company. So I would not do a put spread unless it took out yesterday's high. Let me jump up to earnings stocks here. There's Disney. Honda Motor gap breakout, but it's up a lot, needs to pull back. MFC, no, that's 100% retracement, and I can't tell where it's gapping. NTR is down 58. That's an ugly gap and an ugly downtrend. We just have to sit back and see if it's going to stabilize. TTD, this was one we came really close to shorting puts on because they were pretty darn juicy, way the heck out of the money for some reason. So that we can watch on a pullback. Talking about things that I've been watching for a turn. Look, Tyson, here you go. On this gap down on earnings, kept selling off. I said I'm going to watch you every single day. Today could be the day for a day trade long. It's broken the downtrend and made a higher pivot high based on the pre-market data. So that's a fantastic day trade setup as of now. I'm also watching PayPal. Got whacked on earnings. Let's see, this one's down only 2 days on volume, so ideally it'll sell off another day or two and then give me that same 15-minute looking chart of slowing momentum, curling above the 20, and then that will be a good day trade idea. STE, I set an alarm at 190. It's kind of a little bull flag looking thing at all these converging MAs. So I have an alarm. We'll see if it goes off. Yeah, bullish consolidation and a strong uptrend. Look at these moving averages. You could take the candles off. This is another great example of the moving averages telling you, giving you a pretty good idea about what's going on under the hood. This is a double bottom, new low plus. I set an alarm at 90.30. I can't tell where it's opening, but beautiful 2-bar 180 reversal. Again, yesterday's MT live. We talked about reversals on all time frames. Here's a big reversal that occurred over 2.5 weeks, and now this is a 2-bar reversal from that is part of a W pattern at the 200 with a void. So that looks fantastic for a 1 to 3 day bounce and a put spread. If it opens flat and takes out your size high, of course. That's why I have an alarm. RBA, well, I don't see any prints. On Flex, down a dime at the 50, no interest. Hood, this is Robinhood, up a bunch, wide trading range. I don't see anything to do. I might have heard out of one ear that something about they may want to start offering 24/7 trading. Does anybody know anything like that? And I don't know how that would work with the regulators. 24/5. So yeah, let's talk about that later. Because could they just have their own book of traders and they're just letting them trade all night long? Or I don't know. Let's talk about that later. T-Tech trading range. I don't see where you're gapping. G. Now this is one. It's a climactic buy setup. If it trades over yesterday's high, then it looks like it should bounce. I set an alarm at 39.80. Algem 39.84. All right, that's not bad at all. So let's watch this. I'll put it here. I got JD on my other screen. And JD I have as a put spread idea. So look at JD here, bottoming pattern, gap breakout. So I said let's wait for a 5-minute high because that'll hopefully prevent the scenario if it gaps up and immediately sells off. Yeah, Dave, of course, CDNA, it's gapping down. It's a gap breakdown in a downtrend. Looks lower. It's a big percent down, so put it on a 5-minute chart and see if it sets up, but definitely looks lower. 28.22. This actually would have been a good long if it opened flat, but now it's gapping under major support. So yeah, I'd say this one you could short, maybe a 5-minute low. It's not bouncing here pre-market. You got to avoid. It looks like 200 MA is definitely in the cards if it can't bounce. APP gapping up too big. Oh, that's the one we have. We got naked 15 puts. So gap in our favor. I said just bid a nickel to close it because they're 8 DTEs. As if they were expiring tomorrow, I would say leave it alone. They're far enough away, and I don't even want to pay a nickel. But since it's 8 DTE, just close it at a nickel and take your money. SIB, I don't see any prints, but if it were to gap over 2480, then that would be a little bit of a shock. Could go higher into the void, so we'll come back to you. DV 29 inches range bound. I don't see much to do other than a put spread if there's any juice. Recent IPO, gapping up, range bound, nothing to do. I don't like the way this trades, but it's actually a bear 1, 2, 3. So if you want to set an alarm at, well, I'll do it 2240. Could be a short. Now you all know my alarms. I just set them early, and then we'll reassess them. I'm not, unless I say, yeah, short, 5-minute low by yesterday's high, blah blah. All right, there's the JD we talked about already. BN, it's a sell setup. So if this gap up fails and takes out yesterday's low, sure, that's a short. I'm going to set an alarm at 3130 on Bravo November. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, so yeah, it didn't make sense because it was showing me under it. STE alarm. All right, so I'm going to set alarm 3120. STE alarm. All right, see, this is the one I said was a bull flag. I was hoping it would open fairly flat. And now the big gap's messing it up for me. But that's a bullish igniting gap right there. STE. Hey McGraw, you're good at trading cousins. Are there any cousins of STE you like? All right, here's the sell setup. My alarm went off. So this is definitely in play. Here, I don't need Disney. I'm not doing anything with it. Let me put STE there. Let's wait 5 minutes at least. Baba. Not bad, McGraw. Not bad. Let's see how it holds. Not bad. Yeah, that's Google. Yeah. Yeah. That was a beautiful trade yesterday. This TCN, someone in the green room mentioned, maybe 30-minute high. See if it can just bobble around up here and hold. All right, this JD I see is moving. Midpoint's only 23 cents, so there's no way we're going to get filled. I was hoping it would be a lot more. All right, yeah, so yeah, we're out of APP. It's 0 by 5 cents, so you don't even have to bid. You'll get filled. So we sold it for 55, so that was near max profit. All right, Bravo November here. This 5-minute, it's only 9:32, but 5-minute low, I like. But all right, so we're weakening here. So yeah, this kind of favors some shorts. CHW.